We're back here at We Poetry and coming out from Singapore. I think we're gonna fly somewhere kind of far. Kind of. So we're gonna go to Canada, specifically in Vancouver, and we have a poet who is, well, let's put it this way, a bit ruthless. Just a bit. But she is studying journalism right now and creative writing at the Quintine Polytechnic University, and she's really into this diaspora that has been happening, well, pretty much from the first age of man. But I think now more than ever, we're seeing that. And she is really delving into that world. And I love the fact that I had a quick chat before our segment today. And I love that she's into this relationship between prose and poetry, and she's a lover of that apparently. So let's see her touches on that while she revels the constant rejection and the sense of receiving a lot of emotion from different people. So let's all welcome from Vancouver, Canada, Ruthless.
Hi.
Hello, Ruthless. Oh,
Hi.
there. Oh wow. Okay. Wow. Orange. I love that.
It's my fit.
Yeah, and in this moment and in these times, dark times, you are a sun, pretty much, shining bright, shining
The
bright.
world revolves around me. I'm a Leo cusp, but still.
Oh, a Leo. We have a Leo in the house, ladies and
Okay,
gentlemen.
Leo cusp. I'm like a Cancer, but like I'm on the edge of being a Cancer, so I'm actually like a fake Leo, but still.
Okay. But you're still a Leo, but with a bit of like what do you call that? So it's a crab, right? What do you call that
Yeah,
again? I'm losing my vocabulary here,
I'm
people. Help.
crabby.
Yeah, crabby. We can just go with that. So we have Rufus right now from Vancouver, Canada, and we'll hear a lot of her, two of her poems tonight, and we can't wait to be, well, slayed. Take it away, Rufus.
Okay. Um, the first poem I'm gonna do is called Batibet. On the news, they say a man died last night. Nabangungot siya. Mama tells me it's not just a nightmare. It is eating until the rice climbs up your throat, going to sleep even when your belly crushes your spine, but awake enough to watch your own death on your eyelids. The Tibet skin sticks to his prey. He lies on his victims to lock them in place, and when they fall asleep, their livers burst as his head sits on their necks. Kahit anong piglas, paralisado, kahit gaano kalakas ang pagsigaw. Glass shatters, but they do not wake. Ang taong nababangungot, hindi na gumigising. They die in their nightmares. I was born with my eyes closed. My mother cradled the soft spot in my brain. Ako ay lilipat sa malayo. I left monsoons for Surrey rain. My mouth opened wide, stretching the ridges of my lips, tongue rolling out to catch the syllables that fall from the sky. It flattens on my chin, and I taste the Tibet scalp. When Mama visits me, she doesn't speak. Something as simple as ordering food is a shameful translation. Her voice snaps shut. Mama throws her words at me. They catapult through my ears, and I spit. The diasporic dream forgets the sharp tones that cut through oceans. I cannot tell the difference between the horizon and the reef. My mother tongue sinks into the stubble sprouting from Batibet's head, while English comes up and sucks all of my air. Hindi na baling walang tulog. Kaysa hindi na gumising. Sleep does not mean rest. It could be an insensibility to waking up, to the silent hooks in my throat, to living in a world where ravines replace footsteps. Baka hindi ka na nga raw sikatan ng araw. When I rise, I pull apart my tongue, split my two languages unevenly, recollect the vibe high, and I breathe, let it spread outside of my body. So Batibet knows. The heap of our history is embedded into my chest. My Tagalog unsnarls. Paghihimagsik sa araw to embrace the sun as a magic trick. I did not forget I was born in the ring of fire. Surrounded by volcanic ash and rainfall, my Tagalog will erupt. And remember the ruptures and the silent ladders I mount. Tagalog taught me to hold Batibet's head. Whisper, iingatan kita kahit nakalimot na sila. That's how my poem ends. Okay, this is really weird. There's no applause. I'm imagining it. Okay, moving on. My second poem is called. I'm not going to tell you what it's called because that'll spoil it. Okay. Remember to watch Lola dance on the scattered gravel in front of her house. Observe carefully as the morning light refracts from the wall of windows as if to shine a spotlight on her. Tandaan mo ang pagsayaw niya. Pakinggan mo ang kanta niya. She mimics the butterflies with their fluttering arms, singing, Paro-parong bukid, nalilipad-lipad. The forest quaker's wings tremble around the blushing bougainvillea spilling onto Lola's terrace. Si tatay anda ba? You asked her, pointing to the butterfly. Lola's answer is a frown. Isang araw. Her fingers will flit involuntarily. They will curl and freeze despite the sunshine she once carried in her palms. Tandaan mo, ang kwento of Lola falling at Lola's feet. Of their barrio wedding funded by chicken shit Indian mangoes and laughter, the crowd hollering ala as they kissed. Because one day, she'll forget how to kiss. Instead, she'll remember how to pinch until your cheeks sprout mosquito bites. She will wake up with her back wet from diaper leaks and her voice almost gone. Except for the moment she forced out to say she's done taking a shit, convinced she's shitting her own blood, nandyan pa yung isip niya. Pero yung katawan, wala na. Parkinson's is her body leaving before her soul can. Yung unang symptom, tremors on one side. Recall the weight of Lola's arms as you carried each other up every flight you secretly fell down on. Wag mo nang sabihin. Lola said as you peeled her off the floor, lagi na lang parang matutumba, susubsob, masasaktan, hanggang nanginginig na yung buong katawan niya. Decipher that she wants to walk beside you. When you come home, wheel her out into the gravel. Dance with her. Hold her without the fear of falling. Let the forest quakers land on your arms. Sing. Paro-parong bukid, nalilipad-lipad. Take the fragments of what I remember. Slip them into her spine. Wait as she sprouts her own wings and gives you a smile. That's it. That's my second poem. Wow.
Woo!
Wee!
Okay. Actually, you know, Ruthless, right after your first poem, goodness, I was clapping, okay, but of course I was muted. And not that it's a bad thing, production. I love you guys. But I think it's such an amazing thing, and how you just balanced off Filipino and English, and
Thank you. Finally, someone who understands. Oh, thanks.
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. But I mean, talking about that, like, I mean, you are a 22-year-old who immigrated to Vancouver in Canada, right? So, how was transition for you? How did you adjust being part of this diaspora?
I adjusted a lot with by finding community. It's because one of the reasons I moved here, like I moved here alone without my family, even though I have family here, is because I never really felt like I was understood and all that angsty stuff. So when I moved here, I learned a lot about decolonizing myself because of the indigenous people that are here and the traditional lands that I am on and that I work in, which is, by the way, I have to make a territorial acknowledgement that I'm currently on the unceded lands of Kwantlen, Katsi, Semiahmoo, Kakate, of the Kakate peoples, which basically means that the land I am on is stolen by white people. We're not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. And I'm currently benefiting off of their stolen land, and I have to acknowledge that. So yeah, like, for example, another thing that really helped me adjust is like me coming out as non-binary to my friends. Like it just happened because I just felt so at peace with who I was and like my identity and how I fit into this stolen land as a person of color, as a queer person of color. Um, yeah, I just found community and it was hard first, but now it's relatively easier, you know.
But it was
Not
some sort of
easy.
like resolve, and
Yeah.
not completely easy.
Not
But
definitely. Don't get it wrong.
but because I think stigma will always be there. It stays. But like it evolves. It changes to. I mean, the form changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like I have to ask this. And this is a very very important question. So, did you miss tricycles and jeepneys because you probably heard them already, like right now?
Oh my god! I'm actually doing one of my projects is to have an audio like podcast thing, and I'm doing one about my Lola, and I've been like googling um news clips so I can strip the sound of like tricycles and jeepneys. So I've been like trying to pick the perfect jeepney sound for my Lola's small town. Just a little bit of
Oh, well, where is she from? Where is she from?
she's
I
from
wonder.
Ginhawa, Batangas. So
Oh, Batanggenyo.
yep, that's where my mom's from. She's like basically there's like not a lot of jeepneys there, but still there is. It's like
Yeah,
significantly. I wanted to add it to yeah.
but definitely now. I mean, because of the COVID-19 global
There's
crisis.
not gonna be a lot of jeepneys out.
Oh no, there's some serious lockdown in the Philippines. Maybe not as much as Singapore, but it's I could barely hear them after like 12 noon here in I'm based in San Pedro Laguna. So and yeah, I could barely hear them. So but yeah, I mean for you like in Canada, how does this COVID-19 affected your community?
um, I think it's affected like performers a lot because first of all, we were the first ones to be unemployed because a lot of events got canceled. I was supposed to compete in a national in like the Canadian Individual Poetry Slam in April, and I also had a show for the festival, but they were all canceled. So my current career is on freeze. And another thing is that the government has come up with a lot of these resources like an emergency response benefit, EI, that I, for some reason, barely qualify for, so I probably won't get it. Um, yeah, like it's just an attack on the poor at this point, but it's fine because my parents still support me a little bit. But yeah,
We're
it's,
getting by.
yeah, definitely,
But
I would die without my mom. Thanks, mom. She might watch this. I don't know. She can figure it out.
mothers, I had this phone before, and I had a line there. It said that you are our first heroes.
Yes,
You know,
true.
they are. And by the way, since we're at this juncture, hello ma, I love you too. Right, might as well plug, right?
Right.
But like you're right. I'm being a poet. Like everything is in a standstill. Being an artist, and so now, do you get to write more?
Um, I think I'm definitely not writing about Corona because that stresses me out. Like I've been a
Right.
little bit of a zombie these days, just doing homework and trying to finish my projects for school because this is my last semester and I need to graduate or else I'll pay more money. Um, but yeah, I think it's definitely a little bit of like a white girl thing to be like, oh, meditate, oh, just do the things that you wanted to do but never had time for. I mean, that is true, but also it's harder for some people because trauma, and it just gives them more time to think about trauma. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
that's true. I mean, but I wonder though, like, what is your creative writing poetry process?
My process, it doesn't happen
It,
when I want
is
it to
there a
happen.
process?
Okay, everyone's been getting on my ass saying that I need to have a practice, which is basically most poets, they wake up and then they write for 15 minutes, and that's
Mm.
their medicine of the day. But for me, I just want to sleep more. I'm
Here.
I'm so bad at having a practice, but when I do have like the mood of like just writing poetry, I feel like if I haven't written poetry in so long, then I will write it because I'm like all pent up, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. And
Yeah, it does.
because in class there will be, I'm taking creative writing like as a minor, and the project will be, oh, have 6 pages of poetry. No. If I'm trying to write it for that, then it's not gonna happen the way I want it to. It'll be like too angsty, and it'll just be like, I don't want to do this, but poetic. So
Yeah, because we're poets, right?
yeah.
But I wonder though, would you be interested? I mean, would you be? Can you indulge us if you can, like, maybe share your most recent work?
My most recent work.
Yeah.
This is my most recent work.
Oh,
The first
which
one
one? The
I've
second one?
actually both of them. Oh, well, the second one is newer, but both of them are for my thesis that I'm working on right now, which
Hmm.
just focuses on like trying to write from a cultural standpoint with integrity. That's what my prof said. I just plagiarized her. But it was trying to balance the English and the Tagalog without having a translation. Um,
Yes.
so like basically decolonize the space since I perform a lot. What?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah.
thing is, like, I think when people say that I should speak in English all the time, when especially when I leave the Philippines and perform abroad.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there was one time, just want to like tell people. So I performed in Hong Kong for the Hong Kong New Music Festival, and
Wow.
it was, thank you, and it was so interesting because I had a full Filipino, but the thing is, they actually got it. You know,
Wow.
they got the emotion that I wanted. And then I remember this. I think that poster is going to be up in a few hours. Da Vinci, Leo.
Yeah.
Leo.
DiCaprio.
Uh, so, Leonardo da Vinci. There we go. With a bit of an Italian there. By the way, healing for a lot of Italians because I know they're really being, rammed by COVID-19.
Yeah.
So, but he said, Da Vinci once said that painting is a poetry that is seen, and poetry is a painting that is felt.
No way, Da Vinci said that.
Yeah.
Because I put that in one of my papers recently.
Oh. Oh, well, great minds think alike, apparently.
I like low key. I probably saw it on like a Tumblr post and thought I made it up. Whatever.
But you know what? I mean, there is no such thing as original.
That's
Um, I mean, everything has been said
yeah.
already, and I think that it's how we put our being into every letter that
Yeah.
makes it our own.
True.
I mean,
Yeah.
you have to. Can you share some experience where like you were listening to a poet and you're like,
That's
um,
me. This
yeah,
is my
right?
poem. So many. Okay. I went to a Canadian Festival of Spoken Word. It's basically a team slam thing that's national, and there were so many poets there. And I just remember, like, probably happened to me 3 times. This one poet whose name is Silva Kershid. Um, they just had like a bunch of white woman poems, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God, that's my poem. That's my poem right there. And then we ended up talking afterwards. And then we were like, hey, just so you know, I have a poem like that too. And we figured out that we basically have like the same birth chart, like astrology wise. This is really weird. But yeah, it's like a big thing. I don't know, but it's like if you think that someone has like the same thought patterns as you, then it's probably because
Of the star sign.
you're both like you have the same risings, you have the same moons.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that line. Oh, the same risings. Oh, that's pretty cool. I love that. But if you're going to close the show right now, which you are actually, what what would be? Can you give us like a last piece? This is like so impromptu. Good lord.
Oh, a last piece?
Yeah.
I do have another poem that I really love doing.
Okay. Can you share it? Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay.
Okay.
There goes the tricycle again, going uphill.
Okay. It's like 3-4 people in the Philippines have this book. It's my chapbook. It has Indian mangoes on it, and this is my. It's the last poem there. Okay.
Where can they catch that? I mean, where can they get that?
I ran out already. Like I sold all of them, so I don't know. Maybe I'll reprint.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's pretty independent. Maybe I'll send. My mom has one. You can take hers. I don't know if she'll care.
What? No, I bet she will not give it to me. But maybe we can reproduce it. You know?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Maybe.
I want to make a new one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Someday I'll love Ivy a debt. Ivy, plant your feet on the earth that birthed you. Let your limbs jump offshore. Bury the seeds of your toes in the dirt. Step out to find your skin. Dig 6 feet deep to exonerate old vines. Disambiguation, try to bury. Ivy, listen to me. You are meant to crawl on wood. Ivy creeps the masonry of bleached concrete, constrict every brick with juvenile hands, erode thick asbestos walls, stains from hetera entombed in moss. 18 Hertrudis is a fortress. Underneath the green metal roof is just wood. Home is not just a place to sleep. It's a place where you can lie with your eyes open or closed. Ivy release. The smell of mother's wet hair as she dries it with a fan. Let droplets blow kisses on your face. This is as much as she'll touch you, mother says. Pass this on. Put your hands under your chin. Catch hot acid. Let it dribble down to your palm. Carry it to your father's bedroom. Sit on the empty bed and wait until he forces his lids to shut. As a child, you took your parents' hands and pressed them together to bring back pieces that were hopelessly falling apart. Ivy, open your eyes. You've stretched your arms wide enough to embrace the dead trees inside. Feel their blunt bark peeling under your pressure as you try. Ivy, don't worry. Observations don't have to carry so much weight that you break. Count each time you feel your veins snap. Watch them prod out of your skin. Replay these moments in poetry. Let your mother's shrinking body sleep as the sun sets. Let your father's body fade with the moon. Ivy, don't be afraid. When you're ripped from the trunk you cling to, fall and pay attention. The soft wind is cradling you. You've already carved a room for resilience. Let a synthesis of growth and decay teach you. Climbing can slit your skin. You can pluck leaves with your fists. Grab wavering branches that slip you back on the ground. Remember, vines thrive through thick chaos. Walk barefoot, bite the thorns off your crown, and continue. That's it.
Woo! Oh my god!
We're great. We're living.
Awesome sauce! Oh my goodness, seriously, like this is what I mean about whenever I say that poetry kills me and breathes me life at the same time. Yeah, that was it, guys. That was it.
Oh, thank you.
That was amazing. And it's so interesting because We Poetry, this online poetry open mic, the tagline is hashtag be brave.
Mm-hmm.
And as a poet, it's always we are in constant battle.
Yeah.
Definitely. it's never easy to just perform and then show your soul there scattered on the floor and
Yeah.
not care,
Like
right?
here,
But it
here it is. Take it.
right it's so insane, but we do it,
Yeah. It's fun.
and 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 you showed it. Thank you so much for that last piece. Oh my goodness. Oh, we had a bonus round.
Thank you for
The
having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And where can they catch you, like in social media, or you have other platforms as well?
Right now, the main social media I use for poetry is my Instagram, ruthless.ivy. So, because my name's like Ivy Ruth, but it's ruthless.ivy. Okay, that's it. That's
Ooh, I love that. Okay, wordplay even at the name. Let's go.
yeah. Everything
I
is poetry.
I love that. Everything is culture. All right. So thank you so much, Ruthless, from
Thanks for having
Vancouver, Canada. All right. Take care there in Vancouver, Ruthless. And we'll see you soon.